Tomorrow morning, I'm driving up the coast to pick up an old flat-fender Jeep. It was inherited through the family, and all the information I have on it is this picture. Now, I've been told it's a World War II era Jeep, and that's about all I know. And I can't really tell any more information from the picture. So let's go pick it up. Well, here it is. It's a 1952, and against our judgment, well, everything actually works. Let me show you. If it's a 1952, then that means it's a 3A. But what we don't know is if it's a CJ or an MB. So CJ stands for civilian Jeep, and MB is the military production. So what are the differences? Well, the CJ should have Willys written right here and right there in the middle of the windshield. This one doesn't. But that's contradicting, because if it was military issue, then it would have 9 slots in the grille. This one only has 7. So let's dig a little bit deeper. When we picked up this Jeep, it came with a picture of how it looked before it was redone. So let's look into that. This here is a picture of the Jeep sometime in the early 80s, before it was redone. If you look closely at the hood, you can see Willys stamped on the hood, and possibly on the windshield frame. But that doesn't tell us much, because the hood could have been replaced when it was rebuilt anyways. Now the best way to find out what make and model a vehicle is by looking up the VIN number. Sadly, I couldn't find the VIN number. I looked on the frame, I looked on the dashboard, and I looked inside the engine bay where they're supposed to be. The only thing I could find out about it is that it was the 63,902nd model made. For that year, I think. But looking at all the other clues, we're pretty sure that's the CJ3A. Well, now that we know what it is, let's talk about some of the features that it has. Like a full disc brake swap, front and rear. And a worn winch, with very little use. And we just bought this tow bar for it, so we could tow it without using a trailer. Now, it seems to have some sort of suspension work done, but I'm not really sure what. But either way, it handles like a new car. Maybe the shocks were rebuilt or something like that. Now, it's got a very well-built full roll cage. Now, it has these buttons on top, and I think they're for some sort of plastic roof or something like that. And I'll definitely have to look into it. It's even got a leather interior in the back. It's got these 31-inch BFG tires with pretty good tread, but they're also dry rotted pretty badly. One thing I don't like is how the rims are wider than the tires. The tires are 1050, and I think the rims are 12 or 1250. I just don't like the look of the rims being wider. Looking at the paint in some places, you could see that before it was painted gray, it was painted yellow. And underneath the yellow, it looks like some sort of rust red. It's got a whole bunch of reinforcements on the frame. Right here, it's supposed to be C-channel, but it's not. It's been custom welded. So that can back up the fact that there's probably been some pretty good suspension work on it. Now, I've been told that this has done the Rubicon, and you can tell by looking at some of the damage. Like this beauty ring, and the frame rail, and even some of the bodywork. It's nothing major though, just a bit of dents and dings. It's got a nice interior with a broken speedometer and a radio that doesn't work. It's got a 3-speed manual transmission with 4-wheel drive and a high-low gearbox. It's got a Dana 25 in the front, and it tells you the number if you look on top. And here we have a Dana 44. The transfer case is a Dana 18, and the cool thing about this transfer case is that it has a PTO. PTO stands for Power Takeoff. It is a device used to run a secondary piece of equipment using the motor's power. Now, we don't have a shaft or the connections in the back, but I thought that was a pretty cool thing to have. Now, it's got a spare tire, and the cool thing about this spare tire is it's not a radial. It's actually a bias ply. Bias plies are old school. They're not really used anymore because they're less safe for road driving. Now, the only real difference between them and radials is that the plies, or the layers, go over each other in a crisscross pattern, and radials have bands that go around the outside of them. The only people that still use them are some trailers and old school car builders who try to keep their builds true to the era. Now let's talk about the elephant in the room, the Go Devil Flathead 4. That's supposed to be in this Jeep. Now, if you haven't been following along, this is not a Go Devil Flathead 4. This is a Chevy small block. So now you'll believe the shock that I got when I opened up the hood for the first time, expecting a little Go Devil 2.2 4-cylinder, and I see this. Now, we originally thought it was a 350 because of this casting number right here, F1127D. Now, what we got wrong is those are actually ones. They're Roman numerals. I thought they were I's. But this casting fin right here actually indicates that it's certainly not a 350. The only thing that number actually tells us is that it was built in Flint, Michigan, sometime in the 1960s. Now, it took us a while to find the number, but this one here, that tells us that it's a 283. Now, the 283 is definitely one of the smaller small blocks. It's a 4.6 liter V8 that produces around 270 horsepower. It's got a Holley double pumper and a weigh-in intake. And it seems to have some sort of aftermarket air filter so it can fit underneath the hood. Well, that'll be it for this video. It's starting to rain, and I've got to go study for my permit test. So if you enjoyed, please leave a comment, and I'll see you next time.